Putin doesn't want peace. That has to be obvious for almost everyone at this point. Donald Trump has given everything to Mr. Putin. Everything that Mr. Putin wanted, Donald Trump gave him. But Putin doesn't want peace anyway. He doesn't even want a truce. No, he wants to keep on the war. Why does Putin want to keep on attacking Ukraine? Why is it like that? How is Putin's mind? How does it work? Why doesn't he want peace? Everyone in democratic countries always wants peace. Why doesn't Putin want peace? What's wrong with him? Well, it's not that hard to understand. If you want to understand why Putin doesn't want peace, you have to get into his mind. Think like Putin. Think like a dictator. What's the most important thing for a dictator? Is it peace? No, it isn't. Is it war? No, it isn't. What is it? It's power. Or more in detail, stay in power. That's the main goal for a dictator. And Putin is a dictator, and he does what it takes to stay in power. When he invaded Georgia in 2008, and when he annexed Crimea in 2014, and when he started the war in 2022 against the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Do you know what happened then in Russia? Do you know what happened to the Russian people's view of Putin? Well, he got more popular among the Russian people. Not among everyone, of course, but his popularity increased. So, it's not Putin who is the problem, really. It's the Russian people who are the problem. They tell Putin, when you invade another country, when you expand the Russian Empire, we like you more. And how do you think Putin thinks about that? Well, if my people like me more when I invade another country, that's what I will do. Because then I can stay in power. It doesn't matter how stupid it is. It doesn't matter what consequences the Russian people get from Putin invading another country. The most important thing for Putin is to stay in power. And the potential biggest enemy for a dictator, who is that? It's the dictator's own people. It's not another country. It's not, in this case, Putin's biggest enemy is not the US, it's not China, it's not Ukraine, it's not NATO. No, it's the Russian people who are Putin's potential biggest enemy. Only they can take away his power. So Putin has to please his own people. So that's why he has invaded another country. Not just Ukraine, and like I said, Georgia in 2008 and Crimea, part of Ukraine of course, but in 2014. That's why I did it. It's very simple. A dictator's playbook is very simple. There is only one point on the agenda. It's to stay in power. And the dictator does what it takes to stay in power. The dictator doesn't care about the consequences. He doesn't care about killing people in Ukraine. That's just the way it is. If it takes to kill people in Ukraine to stay in power, that's what Putin does. It's very simple. So peace is not the way forward for Putin. Because if he agrees to peace, even if he gets all that he wants, the eastern part of Ukraine, keeping Crimea, and keeping Ukraine away from NATO and so on, it doesn't matter. It's not enough for Putin. What will happen in Russia if he ends the war and makes peace, even if he can keep everything that he has right now? Even if Mr. Trump gives him everything, it doesn't matter. Putin is afraid of his own people. What will happen if there is peace? Well, it will be obvious for the Russian people that the economy in Russia is down the toilet. And when there is no war anymore, Putin can't keep the people where he wants them. Then the people will ask, why do we have so bad economy? Why isn't Putin fixing that? And they will keep on asking those questions. They don't do it right now, because now Putin is expanding Russia, the Russia Empire. And then the people are satisfied with that. Plus, Putin has laws that if anyone protests against the war, they will go to prison for 10, 15, 20 years. Something like that. In best scenario. Maybe they will fall from a balcony. That's a common thing in Russia. But if he ends the war, he can't keep the people in place. They will start asking questions. Many people will lose their jobs because the economy is so bad. The inflation is bad. The interest rate is way up there. Everything is bad in the economy, and that will show when the war doesn't exist anymore. And then Putin will get nervous for what his own people will think and do. So Putin can't have peace. He has destroyed Russia. He has destroyed Russia's economy. And if he makes peace, that will be obvious for everyone in Russia. And then they will turn on Putin. So peace is not an option for Putin. Not at all. He will keep on the war. He will keep on fighting. Because then he can sit in Moscow and feel safe. He doesn't care about how many people he will kill in the war. That's not on his agenda. His agenda has one point: stay in power. And how to do that? Keep on fighting against Ukraine. And if the war in Ukraine ends, then he will start another war somewhere else. He has to keep his own people in place. Then he can stay in power. He is very, very concerned about that. The people can't turn on him, because then his power is over. His life is over. What other countries and leaders around the world thinks about Putin, he couldn't care less. He cares about one thing: stay in power. And to stay in power, he does what's needed. It's very simple. Peace is not an option for Putin at this point. Cheers. See you if you feel like it.